Tuesday primary runoff election is 1 day away, and candidates in several races from the U.S. Senate runoff down to State House District 49 will find out if they'll be on the November ballot or wrapping up their campaigns. Scott Braddock, the editor of Harvey Cronberg's Quorum Report, is joining us to talk about what we can expect for tomorrow.
Yeah, happy election eve.
Happy election eve, Scott. Obviously, the big race that everyone's talking about is for U.S. Senate. Do you think that the president's endorsement of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton over U.S. Senator John Cornyn is going to play a big role with primary voters?
Well, it certainly plays a role, in traveling the state the last few years as the president has gotten more involved in some of our state-level elections, right? He started endorsing against some Texas House incumbents a couple of years ago, and I was looking at those results, and get this, if you were in the suburbs and you got the Trump endorsement in your Republican primary, you were good as gold, you were going to win. Out in rural Texas, it was still a fight till the end. Some of those candidates were still able to beat the Trump-endorsed candidates in places like San Angelo, Abilene, Texarkana, and if you look at the numbers that we see so far in the Senate race, you have Senator Cornyn performing better, at least at what we saw in the first round, and his better performing precincts were in some of those urban areas where the turnout has been good all the way through the last day of early voting on Friday, and Paxton doing a little bit better out in the rural areas. Here's the thing that I picked up in talking to voters about it the last 24 months or so. Not only could the president's endorsement help somebody make up their mind if they were undecided, which I don't think there's almost anybody undecided left in this race, but beyond that, and I've never seen this with any other endorsement, he could get voters to switch candidates. Somebody might have been planning to vote for this person, and if Trump went with the other person, they would switch to them. Never seen that before in 25 years of covering these races.
Wow. So it should be interesting. You know, there were so many people who felt like Senator Cornyn was almost the safe pick in terms of Republicans being able to, guarantee that they would win this seat almost, in November. And do you think that we're going to see voters be strategic and worry about strategy? We heard so many voters, Democratic voters, who said they voted for Tallarico over, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett because they felt like they needed to be strategic. You think that'll be the case, or are they just going to go with who the president wants them to go with?
Look, the Republicans and Democrats have said, this is some of it's anecdotal, some's in the polling, they have said that they want a fighter. We really see this on the Republican side with the MAGA crowd. They want the fighter. They perceive, it's not true that this idea, and you saw President Trump just yesterday said on Truth Social that John Cornyn hasn't been loyal to him, even though he's voted with him more than 99% of the time, and he was the Republican whip rounding up Republican votes for the president in the first Trump administration. But he's seen as the establishment, and he's seen as the guy who's been there too long. A lot of those folks who say they want term limits, it's one of their top issues within the sort of Tea Party and MAGA-style Republicans. They don't want a guy who's been in office for 40 years, so they're willing to take the risk on this other person who does bring a lot of baggage to the table. In fact, Paxton's divorce trial is going to start next month up in Plano. So if he's the nominee, we're going to see some headlines out of that are probably pretty good for Democrats.
Yeah. I want to talk about another race, and that's the Republican race for Attorney General. Yeah. When you look at Senator Mays Middleton versus Congressman Chip Roy, the congressman has really been trying to call out Senator Mays' lack of experience in the courtroom. Do you think that's going to resonate with voters?
I think what's resonating in that race is money. MAGA Mays, he's calling himself MAGA Mays Middleton. He has poured at least about $20 million of his own cash into that race to try to win this. At my house, I've got a stack of mailers, from, those mail flyers from MAGA Mays, all saying that Chip Roy is for the transgender lobby and that he is for the Islamification of Texas. He doesn't stand with President Trump. The pictures of pictures of Congressman Roy wearing his COVID mask and all of that stuff, really trying to alienate him from Republican voters. Roy came into this as someone who's a national figure, always appearing on conservative media nationally, and the guy who's leading the Freedom Caucus, when this all started in the House. Very conservative. Being painted as some kind of a liberal. And so I think the money is probably going to win the day on that. Republican operatives I've talked to seem to agree that Middleton may win that walking away simply because he, as they say, he's wallet whipped this thing and Roy can't compete with that.
I have not heard that term, but I like it. Wallet whipped. You know, got to ask you about the Democratic race for Attorney General. Do you think that former Mayor Joe Jaworski stands a chance against Senator Nathan Johnson?
At this point, and this is totally anecdotal. This is just me trying to read the tea leaves on this. Seems like a coin flip. I could see it either way because across the state, as I visit with voters, they're still learning who these two people are.
Sure.
Even in the Democratic primary, and so they both, and neither one of them has. We were talking about how much money is being spent on the Republican side. Democrats can't compete with that. I mean, we're talking about folks who aren't able to break $1 million, as far as being able to spend in these statewide races, and so trying to educate voters about who you even are and when you need to go vote. It's very difficult. There's a lot of I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of Democratic voters in Texas who don't even know they have a runoff going on in that race.
Yikes.
So it'll be one to watch closely to see who actually shows up. I mean, each of them has a geographic base, Jaworski being from Southeast Texas, Nathan Johnson from Dallas, and one thing to watch for tomorrow will be to see, where are they really turning out in either of those areas that might give one of them an edge.
Or turning out, period, because we know that primary turnout is already not the greatest, and a runoff in May after Memorial Day, it's not looking promising according to what folks are.
I mean, we're here working, right?
We're working
on Memorial Day, but a lot of people,
trying.
a lot of people will just get back on Tuesday and be trying to figure out what's going on, at their place of business and not paying as much attention to this stuff.
So get to the polls. Scott Braddock, editor of Harvey Kronberg's Quorum Report. We thank you so much for being here with us.
It's my pleasure.